So, Chris, I'm actually really excited that we have a chance to sit down and just talk about this. One of the things that I've been seeing more and more from our customers, and it's starting to become a little bit more frightening, is just the fact that, digital fraud is changing so rapidly, and the attack vectors seem to be coming in bunches. It's not a singular attack vector anymore. It's a lot of different approaches being sort of pulled together to create much more sophisticated fraud. And I know you're seeing a bunch of that in all the conversations that you're having with customers too. So it's just a really interesting time to sit down and have a conversation about it.
Yeah, it is. So a number of different customers that I've been speaking with, they really don't understand the complexities associated with fraud, and especially digital fraud. They know it's changing, and they know it's changing quickly, but what they don't really know is what they're seeing and how they're seeing it. A specific example is deepfakes. Everybody's super worried about deepfakes and the potential impact on their portfolio. But the problem is many people don't know how to either even detect it, much less prevent it. So when you start to go through and they're looking at the verification process or authentication process that they're using, what they found is that they just don't have all of the defenses to be able to tackle those problems. A layering approach is definitely what they've started to implement.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You see an attack vector where it's a template, but by the time you go and dig into it, you realize most of the information in there is data that's been pulled off the dark web that they're using to sort of get past these, database checks. And oh, by the way, the images are people that don't even exist. They're using, this person does not exist or other sites to literally create things. And just by making sure that they've covered all of the bases, because they've figured out all of the basic single points that identity providers use to stop them, they're getting much better at getting past that sort of front line.
Absolutely. And it used to be, we would always think about the world of presentation attack versus injection attack. So somebody that's in the front of a camera or someone that's entering into the line between, say, a camera and when it actually gets received server side. But what we're finding is it's not that simple anymore. Now we have deepfakes that are actually part of injection attacks. We have morphing that's occurring midstream as part of that process, and helping customers understand the various different types of problems that they're trying to solve is really the first area where we've been spending a lot of time with those customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other one that I saw the other day, which really frightened me, because by the time they sort of figured out where it came from, it was basically a teenage kid that was doing these, was face morphs, which is one of the things you mentioned. Just getting IDs for $5 off of the dark web, off of any of these sort of marketplaces that are out there, but then using technology that anybody can use, typically for social media purposes, but instead they're just using it to figure out how to make their face look like whatever identity or whatever portrait is on that document. I mean, that's not somebody that's a full-time fraudster. That's just, a weekender.
Yeah,
somebody who's just
absolutely
thinks so.
Absolutely. And you see tools that are as simple as like Photoshop being used to be able to change information ever so slightly on a license to be able to then maybe change an age or maybe change an address or something like that. It may look real for most intents and purposes, but at the end of the day, it's clearly a fake, but just taking information from different sources and applying it in different ways.